my name is Belinda Doveston, and thank you for joining me for this week's weekly I Ching overview for this week of the 29th of November 2021. Last week we had the second week where we had difficulty at the beginning, sprouting, hexagram 3. We had the rapids of the river carrying our boat, carrying our floating device, whatever we chose to use, and accelerating our development and our opportunity. Were you busy last week? Was it chaotic? Did you remember the advice of the I Ching to rest before movement, get composure before speaking, and building relationships before you ask something of them? So this week, let's have a look. What is the ongoing story? And I mentioned last week that there's this kind of story process going along, and we can see that culminating in this week as well. If we look back across the whole of November, there's such an amazing story of growth, of new beginnings, of learning, of increase. And of course, this week we start with hexagram 40, Deliverance. So we round out the last weekly overview for November, tapping into the beginning of December with hexagram 40, Deliverance. This is a wonderful hexagram of overcoming all the things that we needed to do. And I just suddenly thought to myself, Deliverance is also a movie about rafting from last week, but we won't go into that because the movie's not so great in terms of what happened to the characters. We have positive deliverance. So last week we had the rapids, this week we have deliverance, and focusing on really having gone through difficulty, having been churned at sea, washed ashore, we are alive, we survived the dark night of the soul. We've got through something really challenging. We've got through a big development process, which sometimes can be just an internal part of ourselves that has grown up. Isn't that great? And we've now arrived at a place of safety. We can just take a little rest. And if we do have somewhere to go, if we do have a mission that's important, we pick up our stuff and we get going. If we don't have anywhere to go just yet, just use the opportunity of this coming week to just relax a little bit and recalibrate and find yourself and center yourself and get back into your body and get back into what the next phase of life means. So I think we're going to see a culmination this week of all this growth and the sprouting and the new beginnings and the development and the youthful folly, our development of wisdom and experience and the learning process happening under cover. So Deliverance is really a powerful and positive hexagram, and really looking forward to seeing how this has worked for you. What have you been delivered from? What's been the difficulty that you suddenly either realized you've overcome, or you suddenly feel different, or suddenly the emotion around a particular area in your life is just not there anymore, or not as intense as it was, and you suddenly look and say, oh, I've got through something and it's happened. And I'm here in a better place. I've got through the difficulty. And the difficulty can be just long hours of work. It can be running around and deadlines and emails and all those kinds of things. It doesn't have to be a major life saga. Okay, so that is our main flow of change for this week, is deliverance. We do have two changing lines in the third and the fourth position, and they're both central changing lines. When we have these changing lines, sometimes they're a little bit difficult, because they're on the threshold. We move from the bottom trigram to the top trigram, and they're like that little chasm we're crossing between the two energies, the internal and the external. Okay, so let's have a look at what these two changing lines are bringing us, because they bring us very specific little pops of change, as I call them, little bits that we can really focus on, and I love working with these changing lines too. Now, the changing line in the third position says, do not act this week above or below where you are. Okay, don't put on airs and graces, okay, and parade the town on a chariot, and don't supplicate yourself and dress as a beggar and scurry out of sight. Okay, so I'm giving those as two examples out of a fantasy novel, okay? We're not on the chariot, and we're not the person scurrying behind the scenes trying to not be seen. We have to just be who we are this week. And there's something about this line that's just helping to protect us from losing something, from not claiming our power, or being too verbose about what our power is, acting beyond and putting on airs and graces on who we are, and just, who are we trying to impress? Why does it matter? So think about that this week. Who am I trying to impress? Why am I saying this? Why am I telling the story or sharing this within my team? What am I hoping to achieve? What is my intention of being like this or saying this or communicating this piece of information. And just stay within the boundaries of where you are without trying to behave or act like something you're not, or have skills or talents you don't. Think back to Hexagram 4, Youthful Folly, for our whole month of November, and this idea of wherever we feel like we have more than what we have in terms of experience in a particular area, that's where we'll have some difficulty. So watch out for that changing line. Now, the next changing line in the 4th position says one of the things that we are being delivered from are old relationships and connections that no longer do you any good. Okay, so there are people of the past or the people who no longer can add value to what you're trying to do. Now, of course, we don't build relationships with people just because they add or don't add value. But these will be particular cases either in a work context, a colleague, or perhaps a partner or an associate that you're working with where the connection just isn't there anymore. It's left. And making a decision just to kind of back out of that a bit. And perhaps in your own life as well, you might realize there's an old friend or someone that you've been dealing with where it's time to back away or just kind of back out of that friendship. It's no longer doing me any good. So is it doing me any good? Is your litmus test, your way that you know what kind of issue you're working with? Think about as you go through the week, particularly the second half of the week, relationships that you're coming in contact with, saying, does this do me any good? And of course, the other person should be thinking the same about you. Does this do me any good? It should be mutual. So think about, does this do me any good? And use that as your means of working through this changing line. And then those two lines culminate in an outcome hexagram, which is hexagram 46, pushing upward. Okay, even more growth. Okay, we are certainly having a busy November. This is the hexagram where the seed is pushing up through the soil, the plant is growing, and it's reaching up towards the light. The light can be a goal that you're working towards, it can be your purpose, it can be your value, something that's really important, moving something forward, getting something done. And so in this week, the opportunity is there for us to make great progress because we're willing to put in the work. And the work that goes with this hexagram is not sweating effort. Yes, it's effort, but there's a sense of purpose and there's a sense of joy and progress that come in working with this particular hexagram. Don't worry about it. Climb the ladder, put in the effort, ascend the mountain, do the work. There's a huge opportunity to make growth in this week and to connect with the things that are going to take you to the next peak in your growth in the time to come. As we look back, there was a bit of retreat, there was fellowship, there was development, there was sprouting, there was increase and more sprouting and deliverance and pushing growth forward and pushing upwards. So much growth in this month that we've all been working with. Maybe in the next few weeks we'll get a bit of a chance to breathe, but maybe we'll just keep going and then we'll have a chance in December to take a little bit of time out. Now is the time where we push through the massive acceleration of growth and opportunity happening all around us. Don't let the flow pass you by. Now is the time. Let's jump into the stream of life and let's go, go, go. Wonderful, good energy with us this week and this month. Thank you so much. Please like, share, and subscribe. If there's something that touched you from this episode that you think would add value to someone you know, please consider forwarding it or popping it in a WhatsApp message. And of course, I'll see you on the socials. And very soon, as we're now heading into December, we have our December overview, the last one for the year, as we round out 2021. So I'll see you there very, very soon.